the U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick now says that tariffs on nearly all products from Mexico and Canada will likely get delayed by 1 month. President Trump could make that announcement later today, but as of now, those 25% tariffs are still in place, and it comes a day after the White House said it's granting a 1-month exemption on any autos coming into the country. We're joined now by the Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford. Premier Ford, thanks so much for joining us. You've been very critical of these tariffs, which is understandable. Does this 1-month pause that we're hearing about from the Commerce Secretary today on the auto tariffs and these other tariffs as well ease any of your concerns?
Well, first of all, Wolf, thank you so much for having me on. And I start every interview with saying I love the Americans, I love the U.S., but what a mess President Trump has created here. The only thing certain on these 30 days is uncertainty. We've seen investments stall in the U.S. They've seen jobs are going to, people are going to lose their jobs, and inflation's happening. Everything's going to go up, and assembly lines will shut down if he continues. I have an idea. Let's just drop these tariffs. Let's sit down and renegotiate the USMCA deal that he created. It hasn't changed since he was in office, and he said it was the greatest deal ever. So let's move forward, and let's bring certainty back. Let's keep the assembly lines going in the U.S., and let's start moving forward. And the two strongest countries in the world will build the U.S. economy, the likes of which the U.S. has never seen before. But we have to drop these tariffs.
I know you've threatened, Premier, to hit back twice as hard on these U.S. tariffs by cutting off energy exports to the U.S., ripping up a contract with Elon Musk's company, as we all know. What do you think is going to happen?
Isn't that a shame that we have to put a tariff on the electricity? You know, I think the world of all three governors in New York and Michigan and Minnesota, just talked to Governor Walz, which is an incredible individual. I don't want to do this. I want to send more electricity. But he's basically, President Trump, it's not the American people. It's not even the Republicans or Democrats, because I talked to both of them. Republicans totally disagree with it, but God forbid they ever go out publicly and say it. Let's just put an end to this, and let's start building our economy. But as of Monday, this Monday, we're putting a tariff, 25% tariff on the electricity to the 1.5 million homes and businesses in those three states. And honestly, it really bothers me. We have to do this. I don't want to do this. I want to send more electricity, more critical minerals, more oil. That's what we want to do.
Yeah, that's so important. President Trump has repeatedly expressed his desire, as you well know, to make Canada the 51st state of the United States, and he refers to Prime Minister Trudeau as the governor. I see the background behind you right now. The sign says, "Canada is not for sale," right next to the Canadian flag. Do you see those comments from Trump as doing lasting potential damage to this wonderful, over the many years, relationship between these two longtime allies?
Well, the closest friends, closest allies in the world for over 200 years. The rest of the world are watching us. You know, as China is bringing in cheap parts, undermining American workers and Canadian workers. That's the issue, not your closest ally and friends, your #1 customer in the world. And hopefully we can amend this relationship. And I can tell you, all Canadians love Americans. It's one person, and that's President Trump, that's creating mass chaos right across North America and honestly around the world right now. Over what? I know what it's about. It's about his $4.5 trillion tax cut that he can't afford right now, and he wants to pick those costs up off other countries. I take the total opposite approach, Wolf. Let's build the economy. Let's create more revenues. That's what we've done. I've never raised a tax in my life. There's no reason to.
Prime Minister Trudeau spoke with President Trump on the phone for nearly an hour yesterday. We're told Trudeau's office called the conversation, quote, productive. If you could speak with President Trump directly, Premier, what would your message be to him?
Well, exactly what I was just saying, Wolf. Let's stop the chaos, the uncertainty, assembly plants shutting down, jobs being lost on both sides of the border. But the American people, the pension funds that they've worked their whole lives for, they're being hurt. you know, the market the other day dropped $3 trillion and it bounced a little back. And it's like a roller coaster right now. And as you know, because you're a super smart guy, Wolf, the worst thing the market hates is uncertainty. Everyone hates uncertainty. Investment hates uncertainty. So let's get down to the table. Let's start talking about the USMCA deal, and let's resolve this once and for all to give certainty to the people, the United States and Canada, two greatest countries in the world. I call it the AMCAN fortress. Let's build that AMCAN fortress.
And as someone like myself who grew up in Western New York and Buffalo, right on the border with Canada, we love Canadians, we love Canada, and we hope this situation improves dramatically in the coming days. The Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford, thanks so much for joining us.
Well, thank you. God bless America and God bless Canada. Let's get through this. Thank you so much, Wolf.
A dramatic turnaround for Donald Trump's new tariffs. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick tells CNBC that President Trump will likely announce a one-month tariff pause on all products covered by the free trade treaty with Mexico and Canada. They were actually scheduled to kick in on April 2nd.
Yeah, and investors, I mean, talk about whiplash. They were not so reassured. U.S. stocks opened lower this morning on tariff uncertainty and recent layoffs after opening 400 points down. The Dow has rebounded just a bit, but there you see it, down nearly half a percentage point still.
And fresh produce is already showing the impact of tariffs. Tasha Chen joins us live now with the story. She is in California. I mean, here's the thing. We've been talking about the fact that fresh produce is one of the areas that would be impacted right away by these tariffs. I mean, there are other areas like cars, laptops, toys, etc., that might take some time. But it really is fresh produce, especially when you think about the fact that almost 90% or so of avocados come from Mexico. Take us through it, Natasha.
Yeah, well, I'm standing in the wholesale produce area of downtown Los Angeles. This particular business right here gets about 80% of its products from Mexico. I just spoke with the owner about the fact that there might be a delay in these tariffs until April 2nd, the news that you just mentioned. He calls that a relief, but it is quite a roller coaster, waking up every morning not knowing what news is going to hit. Right now, they are already seeing the effects of higher cost because of the tariffs starting Tuesday. For example, the limes right there in those boxes, as well as the jalapenos over on your right-hand side, those are all several dollars more per box, as well as the tomatoes. So they're already seeing this immediate effect. Now, they are getting the pallets, the boxes of limes and avocados from the distributor, the importer, across the street right there. Perez and Larios, we spoke to them early this morning about the boxes they're bringing in. They're the ones actually negotiating the sale to get the trucks in from Mexico. They have to pay that extra 25% right at the border. Here's what he told me.
It is hard to sleep at night because you're thinking, okay, how are we going to do this? I go, are we going to have enough customers? As it is, like you mentioned earlier, ice is on the streets. People are not buying. Consumers are limiting themselves. And we're bringing in all these products, not knowing whether we're going to be able to sell it or not. And we're not only that, but the savings that we have on the side, we're now bringing it out because we have to pay those tariffs that we have. So it's decapitalizing a little bit. And so that's what's concerning, is that we're going to get decapitalized really quick.
And the point there is that all of this is highly unpredictable. And I have not even discussed with him yet the latest news that these tariffs might get put on hold until April. Right now, he's just trying to plan with the knowledge that the tariffs are currently existing. In fact, on Monday, but before the weekend, he had known that the tariffs would hit on Tuesday, tried to get in a lot of avocados before Tuesday. That's what's currently sitting across the street. So all of these business owners are really just trying to deal with the information that they have. Of course, the people coming here to buy are restaurant owners, catering truck owners, a food truck owner that we talked to who said he gets his ingredients from here, and this means his tacos have already gone up in price this week.
Just so much uncertainty. I mean, the markets are feeling it as well. Business owners, grocery stores feeling it as well. Certain items are going to go into effect right away. But as Natasha mentioned, I mean, she didn't even get to talk to him about the fact that these tariffs are going to get delayed. But still, all of that uncertainty is having an effect on business confidence.
And even more head-scratching that this is an administration, a president that ran on lowering prices at the grocery store. Natasha Chen, we're not seeing that happen now. Thank you so much.